Hello and welcome everybody. Here we are live and ready. Um, I am Michael in Brunswick. How about, feel free to say hi, jump in the chat, say where you're hailing from. It's always nice to know, who we're connecting with around the country and even outside of Australia. Lovely to see you all today pulling in for this Working with Your Natural Temperament workshop. So we're kicking off the month here, the health and wellness and exercise, and a whole month of talking about all these different ways of getting in touch with our body and our diet and kicking goals and moving forward. So it's nice to see everybody pulling in. Oh, Reservoir, look, next door neighbors. All right, well, nice to see everyone. I would like to start out by acknowledging the traditional custodians. Here in this area, we acknowledge the Wurundjeri people as the traditional custodians, and I would like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I would also like to extend my respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are here today. So welcome everyone. Looks like we've got quite a few people still piling in. Feel free to post questions in the chat as we go. Questions, comments, stop me, get involved, make me feel like I'm not just talking to the vortex. And so I'm Michael. Anyone who hasn't worked with me or done a webinar with me before, I'm one of the psychotherapists and I am a coach here at Uprise. We would love to support you in any way that we can. So, please reach out if any of the topics that we cover today seem interesting and you want to take them further. Happy to help. All right. So, there are many pathways. Oh, nice to meet you too, Amanda. There are many pathways to health and fitness. It means a lot of different things. So I've put, some of them maybe more obvious ones here. Yoga, martial arts. I kind of mentioned these first because they are aspects that are physical and they're also calming to the nervous system. So it's something that provides, it's like we can go to the gym and then do a meditation. These are things that sort of combine both of these aspects. Meditation and mindfulness, training, movement, dance, breath work, diet, physical labor. Sometimes we might have a job that is keeping us very fit and active, right? So we might be looking to round out other aspects of our health relationship. Does anyone have any other things maybe to sprinkle in, any other ways that you like to keep yourself fit and, maybe ideas that other people might find interesting, things that you do to get your blood flowing or to feel calm or to, treat yourself to something healthy? Any fun ideas out there? Yeah, just going for a walk. Going for a walk is great, right? Sometimes it's walking the dog. Sometimes it's just going out and enjoying nature. Photography, right? So photography also involves getting out, going for a walk, taking pictures. So sometimes we can combine things together that kind of get us out and get us moving. Weightlifting, spending time in nature, climbing a hill, gardening. Yes, gardening is a great one. We're getting outside, we're breathing fresh air, and we are also, using our bodies. So there are a lot of different aspects, a lot of different ways, cooking. Yes. So, by making cooking fun, by making it interesting, then we're not only taking care of our diet, nourishing ourselves, but we're also kind of getting involved in doing something that is exciting. So I want to talk about that one first. I would like to talk about diet, food, eating, and how that how that all is processed by the body. So first, I'm going to start out using this phrase. If you've ever sat with me, you might have heard this phrase before. Physical sensation is tied to state of mind. Stress, sadness, and anger can all manifest in the body. Tension, muscle aches, tightness, headaches, and indigestion can all be manifestations of our thoughts and feelings. So I made up this silly saying when I was creating this: if you're stressed, you can't digest. I almost put STRESS', but I kind of thought that was taking it a little too far. So, we may have heard before of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Now, these are both aspects of the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic means it's happening on its own. So breathing, heart pumping, all the things that happen in your body that we don't need to tell them to happen. They just do their things on their own. So sympathetic, this is when we activate. So something happens, it's like, all right, time to get a move on. And, maybe the heart starts pumping a little bit more. The breathing starts to become a little more shallow. We're taking in oxygen a little more quickly. The pupils expand to let in more light so we can kind of see more. We're more alert. We're more aware of our environment. Now, as all of these systems come on, the digestive system goes off. So we just need to be aware that when we are active and especially when we're dealing with stress or, physical activity, the old saying, don't go swimming for half an hour after you eat or whatever, something like that, right? When we start engaging in sport, we are activating all these aspects. We're engaging the sympathetic nervous system. We're getting into that, action alarm kind of state. So those ones are more obvious, right? Oh, I just ate, I'm not going to go for a run, something like that. But let's think about this. What about when you're at work and you are, you stop to eat your lunch and then you go back to work and you're really stressed. And you're like, all right, I've got this big project and everything, and you just eat in about 5 seconds. And then, yes, sure, you're more likely to get indigestion, right? There is not as much blood pumping to those areas. The body has decided we need to activate all these other things in this moment. So if you know that you're somebody that's prone to stress, maybe it can be worth considering, do I, do a little breathing exercise after I finish my lunch so I can walk back into work and go, all right, this might be a stressful day, but I don't have to be a stressed person. I can let myself digest. I can take, do I need to have better boundaries with my work life? Can I, say, all right, I need to have that time so I know that I eat and I have at least a half an hour to start the digestion process before I go back into work. Whatever it is, I just, I thought it's good if we're kind of aware about how these systems work. So, our rest and digest state on the other side is the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, when we are calm, when we are like, all right, everything's done for the day, everything's put away, I'm done my work, I've cooked dinner, all right, I settled into the couch and I'm like, okay, I have this moment. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're asleep yet, but we can have that moment that we're allowing the worries about the future and worries about the past to melt away as we settle into the parasympathetic nervous system and allow that rest and digest to take over. Giving ourselves that time, digest dinner, the stressors of the day might still be floating around. We need to latch onto them, right? Even watching an action movie stimulates this part of the body, right, to come alive. The body doesn't necessarily know how to register whether something is really happening or it's just an idea. So just something worth thinking about. Now, let's talk about arousal in general. So if you've done this with me before, you also may have seen this graph. Now, we're most likely to either be prone to the top side or the bottom side of this graph. So, for example, those of us who are, very active and, go to the gym and go to work and work hard, play hard, and, get a lot of things done, really always, always filling the day with something. There's a good chance that the part we're going to find more challenging is the stop and smell the roses aspect. So, you know, um, slowing down, taking time to process feelings, engaging in meditation or mindfulness, going for a meandering walk in the field and just enjoying the changing of the seasons, right? Um, so we're trying to recognize the main, part of this talk today is about trying to recognize and figure out where do you fall on this graph, and then what does that mean for you? So, if we do more easily access those kind of high energy things, and then chances are that's also going to come with stress. It's a fine line to walk, right? That little bit of stress that kind of gives us the motivation and gives us the push to get going, while trying to avoid allowing that to become too much. So sometimes it can turn into anxiety, right? It's a fine line between excitement and anxiety. So when that line starts to get crossed more often, we might find ourselves having a harder time sleeping at night, things like this. So then we're engaging with drinking coffee, taking stimulants, doing things like that. Now, if somebody comes to me and tells me, oh, I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety, probably my first question is going to be, how much coffee are you drinking? Not trying to say that it's not okay to drink coffee or to engage in that at all, but we're just trying to acknowledge what works for your temperament. If your temperament is naturally high strung, then maybe, considering other options, considering, trying something that's a bit of a lighter dose of caffeine, or, at least just being aware of what's going on and what's happening in the body. So the other side of this is those of us who maybe are, maybe find it easier to slow down, find being in big, busy crowds overwhelming, prefer everything to be sort of like calm and collected, and, see the bigger picture, take everything in before making decisions. But, the downside of that might be sometimes having a bit of a hard time getting the ball rolling. A tendency to, slow right down. And this is where we start to go over to the left-hand side of low arousal. It's this kind of lack of motivation, the Wizard of Oz, asleep in the poppy field, right? So again, with the things that we put in our body, acknowledging if I am having that moment where I'm, feeling a bit down, feeling a bit unmotivated. Sometimes alcohol, in the moment that we take it, can be the thing that kind of gets us to be social, be exciting, bring out that side that makes it possible. It might even just be, it might not be that. It might be just, you know, to wind down at the end of the day. This starts to become a vicious cycle, right? We're boosting ourselves all day with coffee to be like, go, 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 go. And then we get to the end of the day and we're like, need something to come back down. So we're like, all right, liquid up, liquid down, liquid up, liquid down. Can anybody resonate with this? Am I out there, or do we have some people who can definitely resonate with and acknowledge this process, this cycle that we get in, right? So I know we're all kind of aware of this. I'm just trying to really bring it out into the open and be like, all right, let's have this conversation. If I'm noticing what is going on in my body, how do I do the right things that support me in this moment? right? So, you know, maybe I do a manual labor job and I, you know, go to the gym and I do all those things, but then I, you know, so I have to ask myself, all right, well, what's going to be the thing that's going to help me to land in this other quadrant? And yes, Nicolette just brought up gardening. I definitely kind of wanted to put martial arts and yoga like right in the middle here, and gardening also. It's like, you know, we are actually sometimes getting the heart pumping, and we are, you know, I'm thinking picking up the wheelbarrow, pushing it up the hill, digging with a shovel in the ground, like, you know, we can get the heart pumping, we can be, but it also is being in nature. It also is calming. It also is soothing. It also is being present, being here, being in the moment. So, you know, this is where we get a lot of these things that can fall on both sides. You know, even going to the gym, right? We ask ourselves, when I go to the gym, uh, am I just, uh, you know, am I just getting my heart pumping and all that stuff? Or am I also able to be present, be here, you know, be in the moment, be like, all right, am I at the gym kind of going, oh yeah, that my boss today was driving me crazy, and oh yeah, oh man, and now I have to go home and take out the garbage, right? Or am I able to be present, be here? All right, let me be in this moment. I'm, you know, doing this thing, I'm counting my breath, I'm aware of my body. And in that moment, even though I'm doing something that is in the high arousal, I'm also engaging my parasympathetic nervous system by being more present in this moment. So these are ways that we can kind of engage in activities that create some crossover. Um, Another aspect I want to get into on this chart is over here. So this freeze response. So basically, stress builds up and builds up, right? Stress has a physical quality in the body. And I always feel like it's really important to acknowledge that. We sometimes feel like we can think our way out of a stressful situation. All right, I just need to fix it. I just need to think, what's the solution, and I'll be out of this. But that can just be adding more, piling more stress into a situation, because thinking is maybe what got us here in the first place. So let's be aware, stress is a physical quality that builds up in the body in the form of tension and other things. In the moment that we're able to acknowledge that that's in the body and release it through the body, then sometimes that can be a quicker and easier access than trying to engage with stress as a thought process. So we'll get deeper into that at the end when we do a little exercise together. You know, as the stress builds up and becomes more and more, we are in this action alarm state a lot, you know, pushing ourselves at that edge. All right, it keeps me motivated, it keeps me busy, drinking coffees all day long. This is where at some point, if we don't have a natural way of turning on that off switch, then we start to burn out. We freeze. We go into this freeze response. And this is where what's happening on this side, a very elevated stress response, can turn into lack of motivation and just depression. Because we just arrived to that moment where it's like, that's it. I'm not getting out from under the blanket. It's too much. I'm just not going to work today. I'm, you know, sick day. Sorry, mom, can't do it. And we kind of go from one side to the next. So you can see that this is really it's not a linear thing. The circle goes round and round, and we can, just as easily as we can find ourselves getting into trouble here, we can also slowly work our way back over to the other side. So the point of this, figure out where you are on this chart. Feel free to even take a screenshot of it, and then ask yourself, what do I need? So, starting to have a practice. Now, depending where you fall on the chart, a different practice might be the right thing for you. Now, a practice, when we say a practice, there's some intention involved here. This is why something like yoga or martial arts are easily considered to be in this crossover place. We are engaging the parasympathetic nervous system by being present, but we are also being active, using the body, burning energy. And so we can turn anything into that. Like we said before, gardening can be that. I can be present in the nature and in every way. That can be intentional. This means I am here in this moment. I'm doing my best to stay present in my practice, and I've made a clear intention with what I'm doing this for. So it's embodied in some kind of a way. Now, embodied doesn't necessarily have to mean involving movement, but it does involve the body. So whether I could be sitting and doing breath work, but the breath is still coming in and out of my body. I'm very aware. I'm very present. I'm very in my body. It's specific, so this isn't random. It's when we are engaging in having a practice, we're pretty clear about what it is that we're doing. So for somebody, that might be starting a Qigong class. For somebody, it might be, getting up and going for a walk in the morning. A walk can still be very intentional. We just ask ourselves, am I present? Am I here? Am I continuing to bring myself back into this moment and know this is my 20-minute walk? This is my time for myself. This is my practice. Walking meditation. Some people need a more active practice. When I first discovered meditation, I actually discovered Osho meditation, and it was all about dancing, moving meditations where, you're constantly on the go. That worked better for me at that time in my life than a seated meditation. And going to the gym, lifting weights can be a practice as long as we're intentional about it and present. So how do I stay focused? Part of this is distractions will be there. I feel like we're kind of sold this idea, if I'm going to do a meditation, I'm supposed to be able to just sit down and turn my brain off. But that's not realistic. I don't know if anyone has ever, done a meditation before, but it's just not like that. Even the most experienced meditators, there's still distractions, there's still thoughts that come and go. You still have to work for it. And of course, we get better and better over time. That's why it's called a practice. So let the distractions come and go. Don't get mad at yourself. It's a trick, right? The more we try to resist something, the more we give it power. So whatever's happening, let it come and go, let it be there and go, oh yeah, right. But I'm guiding my attention towards this in the moment. I'm focused on this practice. I'm focused on my Tai Chi that I'm doing. I'm focused on this yoga pose that I'm doing in this moment. So schedule your time, make it important, right? Like whether you have something going on in the office and you are, you've got a meeting coming up, you've got people that you're working with, you're going to put that into your schedule and you're going to follow through. But let's have a schedule with ourselves also. In my little Google Calendar, I have my Pilates class at 9 in the morning. I might have my reminder to stop and take a breath and land in my body throughout the day. Make sure your goals are realistic, right? We don't want to finish this talk and go, all right, this is my new practice and I'm going to do it every single day now. And then after a week, it doesn't happen one day and that's it. I'm a failure, right? We don't want to go there. So when we have values as goals, it becomes a lot easier to navigate over time. These are all goals that can sort of come back to a practice and come back to our health and fitness routine and come back to our diet. So if I just say I want to make health a priority, then on Sunday night, I might say, all right, this week I can do that Pilates class on Wednesday. I can go for a walk on Thursday with my friend. And on Tuesday night, I'm going to cook a really healthy meal at home. Though I can commit to those things. I feel like that's very realistic for this week. Next week, I'm going to reassess. What am I doing for my health this week? I might not be able to do all of those same things. Something might come up. That's okay. That doesn't mean that I'm a failure. You know, maybe over time, I'm going to notice that I'm kicking these goals too easily, and I'm going to add something more. So, you know, make it a value. Make the value what's important to you. What am I working towards? What do I really, you know, believe in here? Rather than what is actually specifically happening in the moment. It's much easier to break those goals. So, you know, I would love if there are any questions people want to throw out. That's great. If not, I'm going to drop into just a little mindfulness exercise to wind down the session today. So, you know, there are a lot of ways that we can easily connect to the present in any given moment. So one of them, and I'm going to sort of put these things together into a little exercise. But you can do each one of these things individually. You know, even in one of those moments, I might just, I might have 10 seconds and I could say, all right, let me just relax my body. All right, shoulders, chest, sink into the chair, all the feet stick out in front of me, let my face settle, my jaw. All right, here I am, present. In 10 seconds, I just took myself from about up here to about here. Just landing in this moment, using my body as a resource. All right, so let's get into this. Starting to notice your breath. Noticing the movement that your breath creates in your body. So the chest expanding and contracting. The shoulders rising and falling. So you're going to hold that for a moment. Just notice the expansion, rising and falling. And allow that attention to just roll down into the hands. Maybe rub your palms together or rub them on the tops of your thighs. Just for a few seconds, and then let them settle into your lap. See if you can hold on to that sensation. Just focus on the sensation, the warmth, the electricity that you've created. Focusing on it. And allow that sensation to start to spread up the wrists and the forearms, up the elbows and the shoulders, up the spine into the scalp. Paying attention to relieve tension. Notice your forehead, behind your eyes, your jaw, and your tongue and your throat. Connecting to the body to connect to the present. What can you hear in this moment? Connect to your senses. Static in the line, a car, a bird, even the hum of a refrigerator. Just really, truly listening. What can you see? Taking in colors, textures, the abstract qualities of your surroundings. Distractions might come and go. That's okay, just let them be. Landing in your body, landing in this moment. You feel just a little more present and grounded before stepping out into the rest of your day. All right. Well, there we are for today. You know, there are mindfulness exercises on the Uprise app. Check out the different modules that we have there. They're helpful for a lot of different things. Coaching is a free resource. We are here for you. Reach out to us. We would love to support you in any way that we can. We have just a couple little takeaways. So strengthen what comes naturally. Notice where you are and what you're good at, and focus on those things and strengthen them. Clarify what's missing for you. You know, do I need to learn to stop and slow down? Do I need to kind of push myself to get pumping here and there? Set your intentions. Be clear about what they are. Have realistic goals and make it important. All right, everybody, please click the link in the chat to give us some feedback. We'd love to know how the session went for you. And I really appreciate you taking the time today. All the best, everyone. Take care. And I hope that was helpful. Really glad to hear you're feeling more settled already. Amazing. See you next month. Bye.